Okay, it's Micah here with Project Aquaponics. It's been 1 week since my last video. Last week we finally went ahead and planted our plants and everything. So, just updating everybody that might be interested. We've had fantastic growth. I spent the week having to tweak the system a little bit. At one point last week I bought an extra pump and put it in, but then I came to find out that one of the pumps I had in there was actually just a little bit clogged, and when I fixed that, I had too much water flow, so I went back to one pump, which turns out to be much better. With too much water flow, the siphons weren't breaking, and it was just a real pain in the butt. So I got one pump that's I think it's meant for 1,300 liters. That's the 1/8 horsepower sump pump that I got running, and it's pretty much exactly the right amount for the system I have here. It's keeping everything going just fine. And man, yeah, just amazing. Every single plant has new growth on it. I mean, and they're just gorgeous. Some of the tomato plants I planted were, I got them on sale from a nursery, and they had parts of them die, but they all have new growth on them, so I trimmed those up, and some of them are looking better than others. But pretty much everything is just looking beautiful. And it's just growing. For 1 week, it's just amazing. It's like actually miraculous. Take a look at the corn. I planted this corn. If any of you saw the video when I first planted it, it was so small and spindly you could barely even see it. It's been literally 1 week. And it's like, visibly corn plants now. It's pretty awesome. Now, yeah, and I just went ahead and tested my water. And to begin with, all I've done so far is added that seaweed emulsified fish solution and about a handful of fish food because it breaks down and turns into ammonia in the water. In my first test that I did, ammonia was like off the chart, and I was a little bit worried about that. But then it quickly dropped, and then my nitrites went off the chart. And they've been like that for almost all week. And I just now tested the nitrites, and they've finally fallen back down. The ammonia's gone down to 0. And for the last few days, I've had at least some nitrates in the water. So I went ahead and put a little bit more fish food in last night, and that takes a couple of days to break down the water and turn to ammonia. So I'm going to go ahead and let that keep measuring it to see if the ammonia spikes up again, and then see if it takes just 1 day to fall back to 0, which is the indication that the system's been cycled. But I'm pretty sure from my gut instinct tells me that basically right now the system is cycled. So in the next few days, barring some new information, I'll be ordering fish, and I've been debating what to do with that. I think for this year, I'm going to go ahead and order the all-male fish. I don't know if any, for those of you that follow aquaponics and do it, you probably know what I'm talking about, but if you don't have all-male fish, they'll overbreed, and it can become a problem. So if you want to breed fish, you have to have a setup for that, and I don't have that at this point, though I'd like to in the future. So for now, what they do is they crossbreed 2 strains of tilapia, and it turns out that all of their offspring are male, and the males grow faster and have more meat, so I'll have plenty of meat. And I also wanted to go ahead and explain what I'm going to do next with this project. What I'm going to do next here is I'm going to be building a geodesic dome to cover this. And I'm going to cover it with greenhouse plastic. And I'm going to build a geodesic dome out of electrical conduit, which is a pretty popular strategy on the internet. Not necessarily for aquaponics, but I'm going to be doing some experimentation here, and I got some pretty interesting ideas. One idea that I had that I'm going to be doing, I'm pretty sure at least, is I'm actually going to take chicken wire, and I'm going to, around the perimeter inside there, around the perimeter of all the kiddie pools going around like that, I'm going to put chicken wire up to about this high, about the same height as the tank, And then I'm going to fill that entirely in with compostable material. And what I'm probably going to do is get wood chips. And in the fall, I'll probably also get leaves from people that just put bags of leaves out on the curb. I'm just going to drive around with the new pickup truck I just bought. Or actually traded my old car in for. That'll be very useful for me. And I'm going to mix that with horse manure because my neighbors actually have a small horse farm, or like 2 houses down. So I'm going to see if I can get the horse manure there, and I'm going to mix the horse manure with that, and that's a really potent nitrogen-carbon mixture, and that should heat the greenhouse and the water for the tilapia, which has to be maintained at around 80 degrees. So I think that's going to be an awesome combination because domes have the least amount of surface area for the volume inside, which means the least amount of surface area exposed to the cold air outside. And then that composting material will just maintain the temperature inside there. Combine that with the sheer amount of thermal mass I have inside the dome and its exposure to the sun, I don't think I'll have any problems heating it. So, whereas I was initially going to try growing tilapia during one season and maybe trout during the cold season, I think at this point now I'm going to go ahead and try to heat the greenhouse with this measure. So that'll be my next big project I'll be working on, and I'll also be recording that and keeping anybody that's interested updated with that. So it should be pretty cool. Again, I'll make another video when I put the fish in and see how that's going. So till then, like out.